The Vivo Nex has just been launched, and it is promising to be leading the charge on a new era of smartphones. Okay, let's kick things off with that screen. You're probably all familiar with the 6.2-inch Super AMOLED display of the S9 Plus, and it's really fantastic, bold, bright and beautiful, with a high screen-to-body ratio of 84.2%. Now, Vivo weren't kidding. The Nex is on an entirely different level. This isn't a gimmick, this isn't marketing talk, this phone has a screen-to-body ratio of 91.2%. The phone is practically borderless from three sides and comes with only a small chin at the bottom. It's also sporting the same Super AMOLED tech, which enables it to produce dynamic colors and contrast. The downside here is that it's a full HD Plus resolution, compared to Quad HD Plus with the Samsung, and combining this with the fact that the Vivo Nex display is a massive 6.59 inches means that this new phone has significantly lower pixel density than the Samsung. So screen-wise, it's a bit of a toss-up. The form factor on the Vivo puts Samsung to shame, but the S9's screen sharpness is a lot higher. Okay, related to the display, in order to get the screen all the way to the top of the phone, Vivo has found a clever way to replace the traditional earpiece. They have implemented screen soundcasting technology by turning the screen into a speaker. The company is claiming that this is not just more convenient, it'll also result in better sound quality, but time will tell on that one. But then, we've got this fingerprint scanner. While Samsung has improved their offering since the last generation, and the one on the S9 Plus is easy to reach for, with the Nex, it is built into the display. You can place your thumb on screen and within a couple of moments the phone is unlocked. It does seem a little slower than the Samsung, but for many people this would be outweighed by the convenience of having it in the display, where your thumb will rest naturally. Vivo have also had to find a way to hide the front camera, and their solution brought a smile to my face. Like their previous Apex concept phone, they have brought the pop-up selfie camera into their final product. And I'm always nervous about moving parts when it comes to phones, but this now feels like a robust sliding mechanism, and doesn't feel like it would deteriorate in the near future. But we will have to wait and see. So what are the cameras like? On the front, the Vivo packs an 8-megapixel f2.0 selfie cam versus the S9's 8-megapixel f1.7 so the detail should be comparable. In the short time I have been testing it, neither is topping the charts, but they're not bad either. The Google Pixel 2 from last year still has what many would say is the best selfie camera, and that hasn't changed with the launch of the Nex. Rear camera wise, whilst both phones have a 12-megapixel primary sensor, the S9 Plus has a 12-megapixel secondary too, compared to just 5 on the Vivo Nex. Samsung offers variable aperture too, which enables the camera to reach a very wide aperture of f1.5, compared to the much more average f1.8 that the Vivo maxes out at. Both can record slow motion, and both can record high-resolution 4K video, but Samsung has the edge, as it can record this high-res video at a higher 60 frames per second, versus 30 on the Vivo. Vivo has focused on AI camera features such as AI HDR and AI photo composition, but from my personal past experience with these features, it's not something that alone should sway your decision. So yeah, cameras are one of those things that really do need to be tested in detail before a full judgment is reached, but on paper, Samsung is winning this one. The Nex does get a couple of big wins though. Its 4000 mAh battery pastes Samsung's 3500 mAh one. You can expect an extra 15% or so battery life. That's quite a big deal. The Nex also has 256 GB of storage internally by default, versus Samsung's 128 in most regions. Bear in mind that Samsung does offer micro SD card support, where the Vivo doesn't, but with 256 gigs of storage, it's pretty unlikely you're going to need it. The Nex is also the more powerful phone. Both devices are plenty fast with the latest Snapdragon 845 chip, but with an extra 2 GB of RAM versus the S9 Plus, Nex should have a slight edge. Combine this with a lower screen resolution, which means less pixels to push, and any game that would play well on the S9 Plus will play even better on the Nex. But it's not all good news for Vivo. Speaker-wise, whilst Samsung debuted their Dolby Atmos dual speaker system with the S9 and S9 Plus, Vivo doesn't have this arrangement. Its speaker is average compared to Samsung's, which I'd say is in the top 15% of flagship phones in terms of audio. Roughly in proportion to its larger display, the body of the Nex is slightly larger in every dimension. It is taller and wider, but it is thinner. Not to mention heavier. And we're not talking by a huge margin, but enough for this device to feel chunky. If you have big hands, it's manageable, but it won't be for everybody. There's no wireless charging here either, and no IP certification, so you don't get that peace of mind when around water that you do with the S9 phones. So whilst we will have to wait to fully test the camera, the durability of moving parts, and the ability of the in-screen fingerprint scanner to not be fooled, we can say with certainty that the Vivo Nex is very forward-thinking. It is the first final retail-ready smartphone with over 90% screen on the front. It is jointly the most powerful phone in the world. It has got a pop-up camera, and is one of the first to have an in-display fingerprint scanner. Comparatively, Samsung's S9 Plus feels like a refined but somewhat conservative device, almost filling in for a year for when Samsung actually pulls out all the stops with its Galaxy S10. Alright guys, I really hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, if you could smash that subscribe button down below, that would mean a lot to me. My name is Aaron, this is Mr. Who's the Boss, and I'll catch you guys next time.